Hello and welcome to the Nerds at Large Spoilercast for Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And this is your first and final warning. All spoilers for Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4. If you haven't,
Everything before.
And everything before it. If you haven't watched it, don't listen to us. If you have, welcome. Now, Jeff, we have a lot to talk about here.
Do we know?
Well, we'll make it work. Right off. I think we usually start with just general episode impressions, which is weird because there are parts of this episode that I love. Well, like most of this episode, however, for the first time in a long time, I don't really care for.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel.
Like I told you before we started this, I might get my thoughts together while we're talking and kind of realize why. But up until the final battle, a lot of things just felt weird in a way I couldn't explain.
Me too. This is like I think this is even back to season 5. Like, this is the first time I think that I felt like when I was watching the show that I felt like it was weird fan fiction. Like, a lot of this just did not seem like, even just when I saw two characters interacting, it did not feel natural. Like, characters that I've seen have amazing scenes where, like, their acting and the writing has just blown me away. I was seeing them talk to each other, and it was like the show writers and the actors were not prepared for how big of a deal this is. Because it just all these meetings just felt so
all these
underwhelming.
meetings we've been waiting for years.
And I don't know about you, but they all felt off. Almost every single one of them felt so off to me.
Yeah.
And that's really disappointing. Like, I did not think that I would walk away from Arya and Sansa meeting again and not like it. Because I didn't like it at all, really, if we're being honest. I mean, I think I might be a little more negative in that. And again, this is like 10:30. Like, we're not that far off the episode, so these are like very initial impressions. I might lighten up on it some as we go, but I couldn't. The whole time I was watching it, it was just, I was so aware that I was watching a show that was like past the books and that was kind of rushed to try to finish. You know?
Except for that final battle.
All this stuff say that final battle almost made up for this for the rest of this episode. I still think that this is one of the worst.
We still have a little problem with the final battle, which we'll get into.
Yeah, like not as much of the visuals of the battle, but kind of the context. But I still think, I don't know about you, but I think this is one of the worst Game of Thrones episodes I've seen in a while. Like, it's probably been since like season 5.
As a whole, I definitely gotta say weakest of the season by a fair amount.
Yeah, I definitely agree too. All right, Jeff, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, people don't know, we just kind of go one by one as far as storylines / locations go.
Yeah. Which the locations are becoming more and more like less locations because everyone's like converging.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, lots of converging this episode. Maybe too much converging, or more than the show could handle. And most of what I'm talking about, in my opinion, is in Winterfell.
Oh yes, Winterfell.
Which I think the first scene was Littlefinger and Bran.
Yeah.
Or it was at least one of the first. It was weird. Like, as soon as that shot came up and it was like them sitting talking to each other, for some reason I was like, you are not the two that I was expecting to see talking. And like, well, especially if Sansa had said anything to Littlefinger about like, Bran can like see everything, which obviously I guess he didn't because he was surprised. But I was thinking that she might have, and I was thinking, if that was the case, I was like, Littlefinger, what are you doing? You need to stay away from Bran. Because Littlefinger just operates solely on secrets and trickery. Yeah. So Bran is someone he probably should steer clear of right now.
Littlefinger sketch.
Yeah, he's so sketch. What'd you think about the scene in general? The cat's paw dagger coming back into it.
Like, oh boy, throwback to something I kind of forgot existed.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I binge watched for a few seasons, so stuff kind of blends together. From the early back then. So I guess something to give. The whole thing it comes down to, Littlefinger gave Bran the dagger, and then he ended up giving it to Arya, who came back to Winterfell. It's like, Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing of him giving to him just felt weird. I'll be saying that a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it did. It did. And it was kind of like I kind of get it, but it's also kind of annoying. I feel like the show is kind of it's giving itself a cop out for Bran not always using his powers to like read and like tell everything, because he said like earlier when he first got here that he's still learning to do it and he's seeing like so much and everything. But it's a little annoying that he just looks and he like knows everything that Arya's done. He looks at Sansa, knows what he's done. He looks at Littlefinger and says this or whatever. But then he's like, I wonder who owns this dagger. Huh, I guess someone rich must want to kill me. It's like, it's annoying. It's a little annoying to me that he can't say that, but he can say everything else.
Yeah.
Unless there's some reason he's not, but...
Yeah, that might be it. Bran might be the new secret keeper.
I guess, yeah.
So...
yeah, I guess. I mean, it was a little strange. I'm definitely kind of worried going forward now that Littlefinger knows, like, because Bran said that chaos is a ladder, right? And before Littlefinger left, and the look on Littlefinger's face was like, oh. Like,
he knows some stuff.
Yeah, he knows some things, and that's dangerous. Anyone who's, like, threatening to spill all of Littlefinger's secrets is someone who Littlefinger is probably not going to want to live long.
No.
So I could see that could, like, I think this whole season we've kind of been looking and waiting to see what's going to be the thing that causes conflict between Littlefinger and Sansa, or Littlefinger and just everyone up north.
Conflict in general in Winterfell, because there's Sansa and Jon.
Yeah, but we've been waiting to see. I've been waiting to see what it's going to be with Littlefinger, and this might be it. He might want to do something about Bran.
Yeah.
Or Bran might start revealing some stuff about him.
I feel like Bran's so emotionless that like he would just get over with or something.
Yeah.
I guess he was. I mean, we'll see. But if he was planning on doing it, he'd just do it already.
Yeah, and because Bran's obviously not operating on emotion whatsoever right now.
Yeah. Or I guess you can say because not operating on emotion, he just knows Littlefinger has a part to play in what's going to happen, so he's just leaving it alone.
Yeah, and he might not, like, even though, like, Littlefinger played a part in Ned dying, that might not mean anything to Bran anymore, because Bran's not really Bran anymore.
Yeah, again,
he might not care that his father died, you know, that might just not even resonate in his head as something that's worth talking about anymore.
Yeah, he just knows Littlefinger has a part to play to Bran's end goals, so he's like, he's not, not working on emotion.
So, in a way, like, are we... Should we be mourning the death of Bran at this point? Is Bran dead, basically?
Well, yeah.
I guess
that scene with Bran and Mira.
Well, we can just jump to that. That kind of like ties more. Well,
same scene. So
yeah. Oh yeah, it was. I forgot. I was. Yeah. It gets jumbled in my head.
Yeah.
I did like that scene.
Yeah.
I thought Littlefinger and him was a little weird. It was okay, but it was fine. But I like Mira's actress a lot. I've always kind of liked her. She's a minor role, but I've always enjoyed her, and. I thought she played that really well, and I think me and you were both saying before we started recording this, it kind of helped give some context to Bran's, to us, seemingly like sudden change.
Yeah, because before we were saying like, this out of nowhere, he seemed fine the last time we saw him, as far as we remember. Yeah. But yeah, this season, it's like,
he's like a robot, basically.
Yeah.
And just the way, like, I read from her acting was basically, like, he's been like this for a while, and this was kind of her breaking point, where she just completely broke down because she's about to leave. Like, they've been on this entire journey together, lost her brother, lost everything else, and all he's like, oh, yep, you're leaving. Okay, bye.
Peace.
Yeah, and she just breaks down. And I thought that was really a good scene. It was, and it... Really, it's emotional. It shows how Bran is just gone. Like,
which is just saying thank you.
All right, peace. See ya.
Yeah. So, part of me wonder when Mira left. Like, will we see her again? She just pretty much said, "Hey, I'm gonna go with my family before all this stuff goes on."
There's a chance not. There's also, it's not really any spoiler because he hasn't been a part of the books either. But Howland Reed is her father, and he was like one of the people that was with Ned. At the Tower of Joy when that whole thing happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's the one other guy that survived. It was like him and Ned were the only survivors from that. So he's probably the only other person in the world who knows about John's parentage, or the only one that we know probably knows.
Yeah, that could possibly know.
So he could come up with that, or could come up with something. There's a chance that he comes up, so maybe if he comes up, Mir comes up.
Yeah.
But we also have 9 episodes left of Game of Thrones, so there's also a decent chance that we don't see either of them again. So that's
we'll see.
All right, well, let's move on to more Winterfell talk.
Yeah, it's all gonna revolve around Arya.
Yeah,
at this point.
Arya arrived in Winterfell. We had that kind of thing with the guards.
Yep. Because of course they gotta be incompetent.
Yeah, it's just kind of like Beavis and type, just like 2 dumb guards being dumb. It was a little cartoony, but it was fine. And then, so I mean, leads to Arya and Sansa reuniting, which I feel like should have hit a lot harder than it did.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I get what they're going for, kind of in a way with the fact that it was awkward is not what's bad. I get that they haven't seen each other in so long. They might not know what to say, and they've changed so much.
Yeah.
But just the whole thing, the way that they just delivered their lines.
That it's one of those things. Again, it felt weird. I can't exactly explain it. The whole "I have to call your lady start now" is yeah, and then they went to hug. It's okay. I feel like there's something missing there. The point, it kind of sounds serious, but kind of a joke. I don't know. I don't know.
it seemed like whether it was joke or serious or whatever, they kind of said it all the same, and it was all just kind of, it wasn't nearly as lively, or as I'm not describing it right, but you know what I mean. It didn't resonate as much as just last week's Game of Thrones did when people talked to each other. This stood out to me, and it's not just them; it was a lot of scenes. So I didn't really like this. Their dialogue just seemed kind of wooden and weird to me when they're talking about it, and kind of once again, Arya talks about her list and stuff and all, or killing someone, and everyone laughs, and she laughs.
Oh, you're a little girl, but again, you think Sansa would take it a little more seriously since she hasn't seen her in a while. So obviously, stuff has happened to her.
And just the dialogue was weird for the fact that Sansa thought she was dead, and it seemed like she would be freaking out a little bit more. I'm not expecting her to just be hysterical or something, but you would expect maybe a little more of something. It was just she's like, "Oh, how'd you get to Winterfell? Oh, I haven't seen you," or whatever. I mean, it's no, Sansa probably has thought that Arya was dead for so long that she's just succumbed to that.
Yeah, even thinking about when she kind of figured out, oh, Arya, it is Arya, she's kind of smiled and walked there she knew it was a lie, but they haven't seen each other for a while because reasons that they knew about or something.
That's what it felt like, and it shouldn't have felt like that.
It didn't feel like sisters that, one of them thought the other one was dead. They haven't seen each other for long.
And contrast this to Jon and Sansa meeting last season. It's that scene was powerful. One of the strongest scenes in the whole show, I think, was them meeting in Winterfell. And then this is just so much more underwhelming. And literally, someone pointed this out. I didn't even know this. Jon and Sansa had never even been in a scene together. Not even in season 1. They had never been in a shot together. Not once.
Weird.
Yeah. It didn't feel that way because they acted it so well, and it was just, you knew that connection. But Arya and Sansa definitely did. They had a whole history with each other. I mean, it was kind of a sibling rivalry thing, but that should have been the one that I feel resonated more, not the Jon and Sansa one.
No, but it's okay, though. They set up Jon and Arya seeing each other.
Yeah, they did talk about that, which I'm excited for that, but I hope they don't mess it up because I feel like this was weird, so I hope that's not weird if it happens, which Jon is very far away, so that's, who knows when that'll happen, but...
If ever, who knows?
Yeah.
It's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, people can die randomly and you won't expect it.
So I guess next Arya meeting.
Yeah.
With Bran.
Yeah, and this was more Bran being weird.
Yeah.
And I guess Arya has the dagger now.
That whole thing, I guess part of it could be you take it as, oh, it worked out fine because Bran's weird anyway at this point, so it makes sense that it was weird, but I don't know.
it was still like it was, especially going from that scene out, and like the scenes were at least close to each other, and it was just both of them felt like they had the same off to them. They were just something just was felt so weird about all of the Stark children's interactions with each other.
Yeah.
Just not what I was envisioning, going into this.
Yeah, I kept the things like, well, I guess kind of leading into it, like, this is going to be great, they're going to see each other again, then have him like, I feel like he's be feeling more.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I'm glad you agree, too, because I thought that I might have been the only one speaking kind of negatively here, so I didn't really know. Yeah. But I'm glad to hear I'm not alone. Do you have any other takes on the Arya, Bran, Sansa thing? Or
well, they got Bran got Arya to believe as well, or at least think, okay, he sees some stuff.
Yeah.
So Bran's gonna have a scene with everyone where he does that, mentions something only they would know, and they were like looking at him like.
Yeah, I think my brother-in-law said, like, yeah, he's going to see Jon and say, like, yeah, you look beautiful that night you were stabbed in the heart by all your Night's Watch brothers. Like, he's just going to go tell everyone about their, like, worst memories.
I hear everything for redheads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I guess we're going to the final scene at Winterfell.
And maybe the worst one, or one of the worst.
Yeah, the Brienne Arya sword sparring fight thing.
Again, like I said, this is the first episode that felt like fan fiction. This just felt like weird fan service to me.
I mean, okay, I know Arya learned stuff, but what has happened when we believe that she's able to do all that?
She shouldn't. That's the answer, is that this is unearned.
Yeah,
I think, because Brienne, like, I mean, granted, again, like, I'm trying to separate myself. I've read the books or whatever, but if we're taking book Brienne, and even what you've seen in the show, Brienne is, like, one of the best fighters in the entire show, like, in the entire series, and she is a giant hulk of a person. Like, she would, insanely muscular or whatever. Arya should not be able to just completely, like, own her like that. Like,
yeah.
And like, you would look at this and think that this is some superhero show, and that Arya has, like, some superpower or something that she can, like, do all this stuff.
Specialize, I can slow down time for her.
Yeah, like, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like a cheesy fight scene from a superhero thing, and that's not what Game of Thrones does.
Yeah, I mean, again, yes, we can buy because of the stuff she does, the assassin type things, where she can silently
sneak
kill
up on people and be sneaky and everything.
That's
that
fine,
works.
But again, where have we seen that she's able to do all that?
No, like, and just she trained with the Faceless Men for a little bit. I mean, you still shouldn't be, like, Brienne was lost. Like, she was just like Arya, like, could have killed her a million different times. Made no sense to me. It didn't. And I like, the whole time I was just kind of, like, rolling my eyes, like, all right. I mean, it seemed like fan service, because it was like, everyone likes Arya, let's show Arya being awesome. And
yeah, I think it would have been fine. It's like, okay, oh yeah, by the way, I mentioned to you, like, I saw a spoiler on YouTube. It was that fight.
Okay.
That it was happening, not exactly what happened during it.
Okay, that's a pretty minor one. That's good. Like, I was worried you got.
Yeah, I was like, it's not. I think I told you it's not a big deal, but I'm not going to mention it. But,
yeah.
But it at least spoiled Arya being in Winterfell. But yeah, even if they showed her being a little squirrely and being a little dodgy, like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
She has good reflexes, whatever. But yeah, that whole sword thing's like, well, even, and correct me if I'm wrong, she even kind of blocked it. With that sword and her strings, it should
have snapped.
Yeah.
Like, needle should be in two pieces by this point.
Or Arya should at least have the strength
to hold it. Yeah. No, it made no sense. It legitimately made no sense. Yeah. I mean, I can buy Arya as good at sword fighting now or whatever, but there's a difference in
being kind of skillful. Yeah,
there's a difference in being skillful and fast and agile and being able to take down Brienne. Mm-hmm. It was unearned. It was unearned and not really Game of Thrones like, and that might be I don't know. That's one of my least favorite scenes in the entire episode, if not my least favorite. Yeah. And I just was kind of ready for it at the end.
Yeah. So, you think we're done with Winterfell for now?
I think so. I guess the only other kind of thing is just, I wonder what's gonna, like, Sansa is obviously starting to learn a little bit about, like, Arya is kind of darker than I thought. I wonder if that's gonna.
Oh, okay. She had that moment, the same thing. Everyone has her brand. It's like, oh, she was serious.
Yeah.
About the whole kill list and everything.
But then, like, she smiled about it. And, like, this is another weird thing. It's just, like, people in the show are too, like, they're kind of getting, like, cartoonishly cool with killing people. Almost like the Sand Snakes are like, yeah, we're going to kill everyone. That's, like, their whole character. I don't want everyone to just be like, yeah, we just kill. Or kill and kill and kill us. Yeah. Like, all right, well, if you're done with Winterfell,
yep,
I'm done.
Yep.
All right.
To Dragonstone.
On to Dragonstone. Where, I'm sorry, I'm going to sound so freaking negative in this episode.
We'll end on a high note, though.
Yeah, we will. Dany and Jon in the cave.
Yep, the cave of Dragonglass. Like, okay, at least they showed, yay, Dragonglass is real. It's like, okay, that's cool. They want, Jon wants to show Daenerys why he's here. Cool, fine. Then they went farther into the cave.
They did.
They were drawings.
There were drawings.
Of little tree people. Yes. And people. And then White Walkers.
Yeah, like, basically exactly. Please tell me I'm not the only one who thought, like, what if Jon just, like, drew all that?
No, I thought that too. It's like... Like, it was across Daenerys' mind that potentially that Jon could have drawn this.
Jon and Davos were down there, like, drawing little faces. Look, the children of the forest were here, Dany. Yeah. See, you need to help us.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all the squiggly lines on the walls come in there, but yeah, those particular White Walker ones, especially since... Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because that's
the exact spot across from... Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be memes about that, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, so what's your take on this? Because you were hinting at a take before we were recording.
So, okay, yeah, the children of the forest. Yeah, again, the whole drawing thing was kind of weird. Like, of course there are drawings down there about what Jon's trying to convince Daenerys is true.
Yeah, exactly what he's trying to,
yeah. It looked exactly like him.
I mean, it literally looked exactly like him.
Then, this is going to go for the whole thing with Daenerys and Jon, and the whatever sexual tension or whatever they tried to force in that.
Yeah. The thing I liked last week that, like, because there's lots of, like, Dany and Jon shippers out there, which, are you one?
No.
Okay. Are you firmly anti? Because I'm firmly anti-shipping them.
Yeah, not everyone needs to be in love.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even purely the incest thing, which is partially the incest thing. And all you guys, like, there are way too... Game of Thrones is teaching me that way too many people I know are kind of low-key cool with incest.
Or at least in their fiction.
Yeah. But it's not even just because of that. It's just because of, why can't we just have two powerful people in here and them not have a romance arc?
Yeah. Darby, as far as shipping and incest, don't try to get into the supernatural fandom. The two main characters are brothers.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, but where I was going, was that I kind of liked that last week... Like, the door was still left open to it, but they didn't really, like... It didn't feel like they were forcing some weird romance angle last week.
Yeah.
They kind of started to with that second scene, but it wasn't that bad. This week was bad. This week, there was such weird, like, flirtation and, like...
Jon guiding her hand.
And sexual tension for these people who don't know each other. They don't know each other. They're enemies, really.
But they're attractive main characters, Darby.
And this is I'm going to keep going back to it. It feels like fan fiction.
Yeah.
This episode felt like fan fiction.
We'll get back to this scene real quick, but we're just going to skip to another scene. Davos and Jon talking, be like, yeah, I've noticed how you've been eyeing her. It's like, Jon's like, I don't have time for that now. We got bigger things to do.
It's just, I don't want to overreact. Tell me if I'm overreacting, but it's so cringy.
Yeah.
That was cringy. Yeah. Like, him, like, guiding her hand, Davos saying that, all these different things. When they were like, you better bend the knee, and she steps closer to him, and then he steps closer to her. I'm like, are they going to kiss?
Okay, good. I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, are they going to kiss right now?
I was like, if they kiss right now, I might have to pause the episode and rant to Jeff for a few minutes before we start back, because I was going to be so mad.
Now, go back to the bend the knee thing real quick. Yeah. The whole thing of, like, yes, I'll help you if you bend the knee. Like, okay, that's so Daenerys. It's just, the way they did it, like you just said. It's like, okay. You turn this what could have been cool to, cringy.
Yeah. and now, like, I didn't think that they were going to do it, but now I think they're going down that route. I mean, like, if not, then they're just trying to, like, tease people into thinking they are, but about, like, Danny and John, like, I doubt this is the end of this. Like, it was way too strong this week, the, like, flirtation and weird stuff.
Yeah, and... Well,
again, these people met last episode, and these... I mean, I know more time has passed in show and everything, but it's just weird. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
And not Game of Thrones. Like, this seems like typical typical fiction stuff. Like, you know, like easy writing. It's just the writing is just way too easy to be like the two of the main characters that everyone loves are gonna get together. It's kind of cheap in my opinion.
And weird when you consider what we know about their
lineage. Aunt and nephew. They are aunt and nephew, everyone, and you're shipping them.
I mean, people... I don't know if they ship Cersei and Jaime, but it happens. So that's the first thing we really knew about them. Okay, moving on to them going outside the cave.
Yeah, we should stay here forever.
Okay, so Daenerys and Jon walk out. Tyrion, standing there and be like, "Hey, yo, we got some good news. We got some bad news."
Yeah, basically. And even him and Varys had the like cartoon look at each other, like, well.
I'm fine with that because that's just them. They can be. They're cartoony in a good way sometimes.
They are. I'm not saying it was bad. It was funny. Look.
Which one of us tells her?
Yeah, basically. We started. I was thinking that I was worried that Dany would start to be aggressive towards Tyrion, and it definitely happened. I'm not saying this. I probably would be too. I mean, I'm not saying that like in the heat of the moment you just heard like. You've been working your whole life up to this, and you just lost like over half of your army in two battles. I would be mad at my military advisor too. Like
I mean, you lost or heavily lost a lot of your big D allies. Mm-hmm. They're either completely gone or you lost most of them.
And like part of your army is stranded right now somewhere else. It's like really the Dothraki was like all she has left basically as far as an army.
Yeah. At her immediate call.
Yeah, so I understand her being mad. Like, and even the fact that you just saw Tyrion there, obviously she's not so mad that she's like gonna kill him or something. So I mean, like, I don't think we have to worry about that yet. Mm-hmm. But there definitely is some tension there, and back to the cringy kind of. But she, turns away from Tyrion and asks Jon like for advice. So like it's Tyrion starting to be put. In the back burner of all this, which as much as I love Tyrion, he probably should be because they're gonna lose if they keep going down. They too many more failures and they're gone. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Tyrion's cut out for the military strategist. He's very good at ruling and being a political strategist though, so she should keep him on board for when she actually does take everything. Yeah, then that's more of his talents.
It's for
anyway. Yeah. You have anything more on that whole interaction?
Yeah, not really. I guess I agree with you. Yeah, it's like weird. She went straight to Jon.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, let me move on. There was also, I like the scene. I like at least Missandei's part of like the scene when they talked to her. Yeah. I thought, like Tyrion said last episode, why don't you go talk to like some of the other people around here and like let them tell you what they think about Daenerys, and this was kind of, we saw them doing that. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was good, showing them a different side of Daenerys and kind of showing them that she can be
like good. She's not forcing these people, like at least one example of she's not forcing these people, they're there because they want to, and at least these people wholeheartedly believe that if they wanted to leave, Daenerys would be like, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah. And also, I was glad that they addressed, like, as, especially reading the books, like, Davos kept saying, like, oh, Missandei of North, and how about your home in North? It's like, she was a slave in North. Like, that was her home because she was a slave there or whatever. Like, I don't think she has fond memories of home. I'm glad that was addressed because it was like, I mean, Davos wouldn't know, but it was, Davos being insensitive. Yeah, you got anything on that, or you want to move on to?
No, I think that scene was fine.
Yeah,
well, other than what we mentioned before about Okay.
So there was also John and Theon, which I didn't really think about that hard about like John and Theon like one-on-one kind of meeting each other like that. Also, we didn't know where Theon was going. We assumed probably Dragonstone, but
that's why I figured like would John still be there?
And it was interesting. Like I was looking, I was like, how are they gonna, are they gonna kind of shake hands or whatever? And then like, nope. John's like, the only reason I'm not killing you right now is because you helped my sister. Mm-hmm. John has strangled 2 people this season.
Yeah.
John's choking everybody out.
Yep.
I wonder if that tension's gonna continue to go, or I wonder if Theon's gonna like redeem himself at all to John, or if that's just gonna be a constant struggle.
I don't know. Probably Theon will end up saving John and be like, "We cool, bro." Like something like that.
The other part of this is Theon said, "I came to ask the Queen to help us go save Yara, like to get back Yara," which the Queen is in no position to help him right now. Anyway, like she has 1 army left, but at least he is trying to, he's like has his sights towards getting Yara back. So there's a chance for yet another Theon redemption arc.
But, okay, so we kind of talked about, I guess, going to go back to John and Theon necessarily meeting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, like, how they interacted compared, I guess, to other meetings
That was good. Like, I thought that worked. I mean, because Alfie Allen is an amazing actor anyway, but I thought they were, like, the emotion there, like, the tension when they were, like, staring at each other, like, I thought that was well done.
I agree. But that was appropriate for, I guess, those characters meeting each other.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it from John's perspective, like, Theon, like, completely ransacked his home, killed Maester Luwin, killed, like, all these people that John grew up with. Like, he killed everyone. Like, he killed everyone but John's, like, immediate family, basically. He killed all the people he knew at Winterfell. Yeah. Like, you would be so mad at him that you would not even think about forgiving him, and that makes sense to me. I completely get that. We have to remember, we feel sympathetic for Theon because we had to watch him go through hell, but not everyone else knows that or cares about that, and it's a lot more personal to them. So I definitely understand the anger. And Sansa doesn't hate him because they went through that experience together. So
I wouldn't forget your rescue type stuff maybe next episode.
So you think there's what are the chances that Yara survives?
You mean the rescue or in general?
In general.
Oh, she's dead, man. I mean, this Game of Thrones.
You think she's dead by the hands of Euron before they can save her?
Probably. I can definitely see the Game of Thrones. So who knows?
Who knows?
She's one of those characters. I'd be surprised if she survived till the end of the series, one way or the other.
Yeah, but the fact that he didn't kill her immediately is maybe a good sign. I don't know. We'll see.
Or they'll tease us.
I'm sure they're good at that. They're good at doing things we're not expecting to.
So, we done with Dragonstone?
I guess so. We're at like the 35-minute mark. We have a long time to talk about the battle if we want to.
Man, we're kind of like this episode. 35 minutes of everything else.
30 minutes of the battle. Hey. All right. Screw it. Let's do it. Okay. I want to be a little bit more positive anyway.
Like, let's start with the downside
negative out of the way. All right, Jeff, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so apparently, for as far as we can tell, Daenerys somehow contacted Littlefinger and be like, "Hey, can I get your teleportation pods?"
Yeah.
So part of me is like getting that. It's unless there's something in the episode me and Darby both missed, and we kind of look back at a couple scenes to see if we missed something.
We wanted to be wrong.
Yeah. There's no reason that Daenerys should have been able to meet Jaime and the Lannister army or whatever on the way back to King's Landing that we could see. Yeah,
number one, the reason of just timing, like, the course of this all happening, like, she hears about it, and then she's able to, like, get there or whatever before Jaime's even back. That's already weird. Yeah. But also, we're just kind of left to assume by the order of events that we saw and the landscape and everything that, like, they're probably not that far away from, like,
King's Landing, I assume, or Highgarden.
Highgarden, yeah. I mean, because we saw them in Highgarden. We don't really know where they are, but, like, how how could because I forgive you for not knowing the geography of Westeros. We didn't really.
We looked it up.
We had to look it up. But like King's Landing and Dragonstone are on like far east side of Westeros, and Highgarden's on basically the west side.
Yeah,
like mid kind of, but more west.
Yeah, like King's Landing is in the middle of Highgarden and Dragonstone. Pretty much, if you draw like a line.
Yeah.
But yeah, King's Landing's so much closer to Dragonstone.
It seems to me that like if they were near Highgarden or anywhere on that road in between, it seems impossible that Dany could have gotten an entire horde of Dothraki to them and snuck up on them.
Yeah, I mean, again, for the reason we said is, yes, Jaime had more travel to go, but and then just to remind people, there had to have been some information sent from Highgarden to Dragonstone. And then Daenerys get everything together and meet Jaime somewhere in the middle somehow.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, there's no way that information can have gotten from Highgarden to Dragonstone.
Unless like Varys has people like sending,
But
like,
at least say something, because there's no indication of any of this. Like, we don't even have any idea like how close to Jaime was close to Highgarden or King's Landing. There was no indication.
No, and there needed to be like. And we're having to do this too much with Game of Thrones, even in the episodes I like, where we're having to justify things being like, oh, well, it was probably this, or the timeline was probably this, or they, to like make up for them not showing us.
Yeah.
And it's starting to irritate me. Like, you need to be more clear with this stuff so that we don't have to have these conversations and make up all these excuses.
I can't see any reasonable excuse for this.
For why it makes sense. And because, I mean, like whenever... Let me fix the camera. Whenever you're, like, in, like, a war, you're in wartime like this, and you have your army, you have scouts. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what you do. Like, and this is, like, the Lannisters are one of the biggest things or whatever. And the amount of distance that Dany would have had to travel, even if they're close to King's Landing, I can't not reasonably imagine that Jaime and them would have been caught completely off guard like that.
Yeah. Or the argument about, Dragonstone being close to King's Landing is like, oh, maybe at the crossroad around King's Landing, someone around King's Landing sees something.
Yeah, like you would have like the perimeter around King's Landing like supervised at all times if you're Cersei, I'm sure. Like you'd be able to see. I mean, you saw how big that Dothraki army was.
Yeah.
Like you don't march an army that big and have a sneak attack.
Especially with how loud they were.
Yeah, they're screamers. They're Dothraki screamers. That's the name. They were screaming a mile away.
Again, I could have seen this whole thing. Okay, sneaking up and them getting there that fast. If it was just like Daenerys and the dragons, okay, I could understand that. But yeah, the fact it was a whole army of people on horses.
Yeah, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, if you kind of like throw that out of your brain, which we're having to do too much recently, but the battle itself was pretty darn cool.
It was.
Like, we finally got to see, like, we saw it kind of in that battle in Marine for, like, the first part of the Battle of the Bastards, but it was kind of like a quick version, and we didn't see much of it. We finally got to see a dragon in, like, real battle.
Mm-hmm.
And
extended battle.
Yeah, and it was tearing some stuff up. Like, It was crazy. Like, it's just, like, burning entire, like, rows of men, and everyone's just, like, screaming and running around, and it was... really well done.
Yeah. Beautiful.
This is obviously where a lot of the budget was probably going.
Yeah.
into this.
Dragons aren't cheap.
No. and we're kind of going to be jumping all over the place with this battle, but I like how... I thought it was really well done how they showed it at the beginning. Like, they know us watching the show. We've been watching for so long, waiting for these dragons to be a part like this. So they know that we're going to be like, yeah, dragons, and, woo, fire, and everyone's burning. And they have, like, triumphant music, and you're doing all of this, and everyone's burning, and you're, like, the energy is high. But I also like that they kept that going for a while, but then... the music shifted sad, and they started showing it from, like, Jaime's perspective, and he's watching people, like, screaming in agony, flesh being burned off of them, and it's horrific.
People literally being turned to ash.
Yeah, like, you're stepping on, like, stepping on people who are ash, like, already ash, and everything. And And then like it suddenly shifted to where you're seeing the exact same thing you were just seeing, but the emotion is completely different. And you're kind of seeing what Tyrion and Jon both warned her about, that like people are gonna think you're a monster if you do this. I kind of think she has to do this to a point, but I love that. I love they show you the same visuals but in a different context, and it completely changes it to where you're left with like, yeah, I'm happy, but I'm also kind of It's also just like war is brutal, and this is, you know, I thought it was really well done.
Oh yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah, again, like you said, it kind of changed what side I guess we're looking from. And then we got a fair amount of Bronn.
We finally got Bronn, but boy, Jeff, I know I'm not the only one. I thought he was toast the entire, like, that whole time. I was like, and it kept going through my head. I was like, Game of Thrones is gonna kill Lady Olenna and Bronn in back-to-back episodes. What are you thinking?
They're thinking, we only got less than 10 episodes left. Let's go crazy.
Those are the comic reliefs. What are we going to do?
We still have Tyrion quips. Or we would still, because as far as we know, he's alive.
But they're getting less and less because he's getting more and more serious because he matters more.
Yeah.
But it was awesome to see Bronn, but it was also... That's also another cool thing that was about this. It's Bronn sitting there, like, loading up the thing to shoot it and to, like, shoot Drogon with the, like, weird, like, crossbow thing. And, like, you obviously don't want the dragons to die, because I think we're all still pretty much pulling for Dany, at least until Cersei's gone. Like, some people might not like Dany, but I think no one likes Cersei.
Yeah, well, also we're pulling for dragons to live to fight White Walkers.
that too. So you don't want Bronn to win, but you also, like, you're so worried about Bronn dying. So it's this weird, like, conflict that's what was going on in my mind.
Yeah, and because it's a Game of Thrones, when, you know, they were showing the arrow going towards Drogon, it's like, oh man, what is actually going to happen? Is this going to connect? If it does, where is it going to connect?
I was saying, are they going to kill Drogon? I was thinking, like, Dragon's going to die at some point, but I didn't think it was going to be Drogon. And in episode 4, I was like, what? And obviously it didn't.
Yeah.
But I was worried about that for a little bit.
Also, something like, you know, after Bronn tried on Drogon, it didn't work. He shot him just like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he just kind of went up like, It didn't hurt, but
he looked hurt, but he was like,
whatever. He's still toasting some fools. He destroyed the giant crossbow catapult thing.
I looked back. You were actually wrong. They didn't find that. They built that.
Okay.
He said that our, like, best craftsmen or whatever are working on these, so they should have multiple. Okay. I think. Like it. I at least looked, and he did not. He said that they made it.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. No. It's fine. We watched these episodes once, and then we go straight into it. But I rewatched it again, so there should be more than one.
Okay. Never mind.
I think.
Yeah, I was about to go there. Is that the only one? But
I mean, they still might be. I don't know. They didn't say what they made it out of or anything like that. But I'm guessing there's going to be more than one. So I'm guessing this is going to be something where Dany has to go back and be like, okay, listen, they have something that
can actually hurt dragons.
Yeah, so we should actually maybe be more careful.
Yeah.
Or
at least Tyrion will say, you got to be more careful, girl.
Yeah, you really got to be careful. I mean, because I think Miss Sunday said it back like in episode 1 or whenever or 2, whenever they were talking about it. She was like, you know, it only takes one arrow, and if you die, this whole thing's done. You know.
Yeah. So, I guess we're done talking about Bronn, at least for now, as far as his main parts, his solo parts.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, his solo parts.
Yeah. So
he had some cool action though.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we love Bronn.
Yeah.
Bronn's the best.
Yes. So Jamie.
Jeff. I was saying before this, like, I think a lot of us, myself included, expect Jamie to die at some point.
We said that about most characters.
yeah, but like Jamie, I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be sad or whatever. But even though I'm expecting it, I obviously was not at all expecting it now, and it hit me so much harder than I thought it would.
Yeah, me and you were both like sitting up, like, we leaned over, like.
We were both leaned over, and when it happened, we were just silent for like a very long time. And this is what I love about this show is, like, I didn't even realize I cared that much about Jamie.
Yeah.
Because Jamie, like, he kind of went on a redemption arc, but not fully. He's on the wrong side, and he does some messed up things, and he forgives Cersei for doing messed up things. Like, he's not a perfect character, like, that we like, but I still like him. Obviously, I do, because as soon as that happened, I was like, no.
Yeah, but what was interesting, we were both kind of thought about it, or mentioned, it's somewhat crossed the mind, maybe. Like, what if he did get Daenerys for that?
And that's the thing about Game of Thrones, is that it could, it went through my head. I was thinking, like, what if he just throws that spear, impales Daenerys, credits. And we're like, oh God, what happens now?
Give me the episode now.
And, like, we were saying, if you think this is crazy, that Jaime's, like, might be dead, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
That would have been just unbelievable.
So, we don't know exactly who pushed Jaime off the horse.
Yeah.
You assume Bronn.
Yeah, we'd assume Bronn.
We have no way to know for sure.
No, we don't. Yeah. And I don't know if that means that Bronn's going to be dead too.
Yeah. Also, okay, I'm going to be negative again for one more second.
Okay. Go back.
Based on the way they showed when Jaime hit the water and everything, and since they were kind of in the water when he was running, just, kind of on the shore, I have no reason to believe he was actually in that deep of water when he landed. Was that the only one who thought that?
It was a little deep. He just kept sinking.
Suddenly, no, even then around him, it didn't even show like a shore like it should have been, because he shouldn't have gone that far out.
This basically looked like a pond. And it was just kind of like, he just kept sinking and sinking and sinking. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but like that's another weird thing. It's like, I don't know if I believe he went that deep.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have even had to do it that deep for me to believe that he would drown, because you're in, like, heavy armor.
Yeah.
Like, you can't swim in that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you would sink and drown. So, unless there's something crazy, or unless, like, at the beginning of the next episode we learned that Tyrion runs down there and gets someone to pull him up before he drowns, which would be
we thought about before. Then it's like there's no, because okay, awesome moment. Tyrion be like, "No, you fool, you run."
I loved that so much. I think that was when I started to sit up, because I mean, like, him being like, "No, you idiot, you idiot, you idiot!" Like,
run.
He obviously cares about him. Like, he's on this side, but he still cares about Jaime.
And Jaime's like the one person on that side he actually still cares for.
Yeah, and watching him, like, look at Jaime, like, from that hill, like, God, it tore my heart out just watching him.
But I'm gonna say, we were talking about beforehand, there's no way that Tyrion could have ran and had done something by the time, Jaime would be dead underwater.
Yeah,
he was far away, and who's going to listen to him?
I'm going to be unhappy with the show if they do that route. Like, I think that would be kind of cheap.
And as far as Jaime getting saved, who will save him? Like, even the one who, you could say the one who knocked him off the horse and stuff, but we don't know who did that. They could be in heavy armor that we don't know about. And
they might be drowning. It might be Bronn drowning beside him. I feel like they would have shown it.
Well, but even then, how's he going to get up there without Daenerys and Drogon and the Dothraki not seeing them?
Yeah. Well, and it's one of these, like, as soon as he charged towards Daenerys, it's like,
someone's gonna be dead,
or he's gonna die, because like, if you don't get up and run out of the way now, like, they lost. So if you hang out there, you're gonna be surrounded by enemies, and he was either gonna be captured or killed unless he ran away, which he should have done. That's what Tyrion was like, "Don't try it, you idiot!" Like, Jaime should have said, "All right, well, this is lost," and bailed, and he probably still would have been alive. Mm-hmm. But because, like, whether it was drowning or it was the dragon getting him or it was the Dothraki capturing him, it was gonna end poorly for him. Even if he killed Daenerys, like, he was gonna die. Like, he would kill Daenerys and they would immediately killed him.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, I guess, no Jaime. There could potentially no Jaime going forward.
Oh, logic, I guess, says Jaime's done. So,
like, did it even cross your mind that Jaime would die before, like, kind of the end of this season or the end of the Dany-Cersei battle?
I would say at the very end. Yeah, I could. My main thought was like, okay, he might die in this season when I don't know, the end of Cersei, pretty much. But yeah, I guess I definitely did not go into this episode thinking, oh, Jaime's gonna die.
Not at all. Especially going off of last week, I didn't even think they were going to be in danger on their way back to King's Landing. I didn't
well, Daenerys finally got a win.
And again with the show, 2 straight weeks, Dany had bad losses, and we're like, oh, dang it. She finally gets a win, and I'm probably more sad than I was. We're
more focused on losing, 2 characters.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard to even feel happy about Dany's win. Yeah, because you just... They were mad that one side of this battle is winning, but then when they lose a member, we're sad about that too. It's just because we care about different people and who are fighting against each other, and that's how they're gonna get us. There's gonna be people killing people we like, killing other people we like, and it's starting. I mean, it started last week with Jaime killing Olenna too. Yeah, but yeah, we're sad about the man who just killed Olenna. We're sad that the man that just killed the Lady of Thorns, fan favorite Lady of Thorns, he killed her, and we're sad that he died. Potentially died.
Until we see his body actually...
Yes, yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, we can agree... We can't think of a logical reason for him to get out of that.
We'll go run under the assumption for now, and I think you agree that it would be very cheap if they...
I can't think of a non-cheap way for him to get out of that at the moment. So, yeah, I guess any predictions potentially for the next episode? I guess who we might see and who we won't. Obviously, King's Landing, and Daenerys / Dragonstone.
I wonder what Cersei's reaction is going to be to Jaime.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't even think about this. Olenna's words just died with Jaime. Olenna's words about Tyrion, about her killing Joffrey.
Oh, yeah.
No one else knows about that, so that's not even going to get out. We were all thinking, how's Cersei going to react to this?
No, yeah.
That just died with him, so...
Yeah.
Olenna's, last jab didn't actually land as much as we thought, because
Olenna
didn't get Cersei.
Olenna's up looking down dang it, Jaime, you had one job.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until right now.
Yeah.
Because I had been so busy thinking about, how is Cersei going to react? And this is going to start to build a wedge between Jaime and Cersei, because Jaime's going to be like, well, we put Tyrion in trial when he didn't actually do anything. And Cersei will be like, well, I hated him anyway. So,
Well, then she's like, he killed father, so...
He'd be like, well, he never would have been in that situation if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But all that's out now.
Potentially.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, probably. I'm just not going to go into the assumption he's dead until we see
we need to stop saying for sure. But
yeah.
Until at least after next week.
So, yeah, again, next week, there's no way we don't see Cersei / King's Landing.
No way.
Dragonstone / Daenerys is obviously everything.
Yeah.
Probably Winterfell, just... But
there's
honestly...
too many players there.
Yeah, but I could see, depending on what they do next episode, them just focusing Jon, the Winterfell stuff being Jon, and if they're, doing a long time King's Landing, Dragonstone, whatever else.
Yeah, because again, I think in one of these episodes, we're going to have something that's so important that it takes up, almost a full episode or something, to where, I could see Winterfell being left out if there's something really important going on with Dany and Cersei.
Obviously, they could come up with, something could happen, but as far as what we know right now, and obviously, if you think of something, let me know. I can see them skipping Winterfell potentially, because all the Stark children are there now, and stuff may not happen unless Littlefinger does something until Jon gets back.
We have 3 episodes left, right?
That's
one of these 3 episodes. We're gonna see the wildlings get attacked by the White Walkers. That could be the end.
That's what I'm.
That could be
the
last episode
for that.
Yeah.
Since we got till he left.
Yeah.
I can see it. Maybe this whole Dany versus Cersei war wrapping up 2 episodes from now, in the middle of the final episode. I mean, this stuff's going quick. We've had 3 major battles.
Yeah. Maybe I want to talk about this a little bit. I'll show it for now. But yeah, I could see it either wrapping up second to last episode or wrapping up the last episode, in the first part of the last episode, and then the end is the White Walkers are in Westeros. The White Walkers have come through the wall,
and that's what they have us.
And that's what they end with.
And make us wait for 2 years potentially.
Gosh, yeah, I could definitely see that being the way that goes. If they do show Winterfell next episode, I feel like they have to have the Hound arrive, or it's gonna start getting getting ridiculous if he doesn't.
That's
get
why
there
I said
soon.
let me know. It's something I didn't think about at the time.
That's gonna start to feel weird if they keep showing Winterfell, but he doesn't get there.
Okay, well, especially since they're traveling like north, and everyone keeps on teleporting to different places. You'd think in this time he'd.
But they're still a movie in real time, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, again, like they're probably not all in chronological order just because we see them like that. They could be in different orders. Some of them are not because we have reference points, but some of them like just because like it looked like Arya was still in like dry ground, like not really snowed, it wasn't that cold, and she was heading towards King's Landing. She got told about Jon, turned around, and she got there before the Hound, who we saw in cold and snow.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was already up north. But with those, there's no reference point. Just because we saw them in that order doesn't mean that they were in that order. The Hound could have... That stuff could have actually happened after Arya. I'm just saying, like...
I get what you mean. Technically, the Hound stuff could not technically have happened before this battle we're talking about. Because we had no reference point.
With this stuff, the battle, like, and we were talking about that problem, that's something real that, like, you can tell.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, but, like, again, the thing they could have done, they used every story in the first episode. They could be like, we'll use the Hound, even though we're not going to use them for a couple episodes.
For a long time, yeah. I mean, they needed to do a better job with the timeline. Even, like, it's just every single week. I listen to a bunch of Game of Thrones podcasts, too, and... Every single week, everyone's having to, like, justify things like, oh, well, it might not be chronological order, so it might work, It's just starting to become too much. And that I want to talk just a little bit, like, we're towards the end, but I've thought this, like, even through all the good episodes this season, but it's starting to kind of take its toll on me. We are rushing. Yeah. I think the show is going way too fast, and it's kind of obvious that they're trying to, like, let's get to the end. Mm-hmm. And I think it's starting to detract from the show a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, perfectly honest, I figured that was going to be the case.
I did too. But like,
I know it sucks. And then when we have like the slower emotional moments, like I'm not saying this is an attraction for it, but like say Jamie and Olenna last week, that was a pretty long talk. That felt a lot slower than everything else because it was just so fast paced.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that we see like Daenerys hear news about this, talk about what should
literally the
do,
next scene,
and then the next scene is her in battle. It's, I mean, think back to like season 1 or season 2, like Robb moving his army was a huge deal. That took like several episodes, and it felt real. Like when it was like the Lannisters and the Starks fighting each other in the battlefield, it felt like a real thing that you had to like, oh, let's strategize about this. Let's do this. Now, like, probably what they would have covered in several episodes and gone in depth about happens in one episode now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was the way that the show was envisioned to be. I think they're just trying to, like, I think Dan and Dave want to get off of this project, which I understand. They've been doing it forever. But it's starting to take a toll on the show a little bit. Still fun. I mean, it's still one of the best shows on TV by far. I mean, if anything else, for the budget and just the acting is really good most of the time. But
yeah, and I guess some benefits of going fast paced is we were surprised, like when these last 3 episodes, the battles happened.
Yeah.
Instead of, I guess, some build up to it, which positives and negatives for both.
Yeah. I just do think that we're going to, in some ways, looking back at Game of Thrones, like many years from now, we're going to think about how it started to get rushed towards the end and maybe didn't have the best finish because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this. But I do think it's going to be a pretty big negative, especially when we're able to look back at it in hindsight.
And especially, like, I assume me and you will do this at some point, do a complete rewatch when it's done.
Oh, yeah,
and then once we binge through it, we'll notice that quick change.
Yeah.
Well, from season 4 to 5, nothing happening during that season. It's the last 2 episodes, and then a sudden going really fast.
Yep. Season 6 started speeding up, and then this season is just...
Phew. I mean, more happened these last 3 episodes than all of season 5.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Season 5 is an example of it's too slow and it was also just bad in a lot of ways. But yeah. Well, Jeff, do you want to do lowlights and highlights? I have so many lowlights. I'm not used to having this many lowlights.
I guess.
I think that Brienne Arya scene might be my lowlight.
Yeah.
I really hated that scene. That was pretty bad. Highlight. The dragons. The dragons burning everyone up. It was like, we were talking about Sansa and Arya, and that reunion was underwhelming because we've been thinking about it for so long. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about the dragons fighting even longer than that, and it lived up to it. Like, I was not disappointed at all with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go with different highlights, and I generally agree with yours, of course. Okay. Low light, whatever that sexual tension right between Dany and Jon was. I'm just going to go with that. So cringy and bad.
I agree.
I watch CW shows.
It reminded me of that level of cheese.
Yeah, but, yeah.
And you don't expect it, because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all with this show.
Well, yeah, again, and in ways that was worse than CW shows.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. And highlights, I'm just going to go with Bronn/Jaime just in that battle. Just those... Yeah. The moments they had were just great.
Yeah.
And if they're both dead, I think those were fitting kind of ends for them.
I agree. Like they went out in a crazy fashion and unexpected. That's Game of Thrones forte's unexpected death.
Okay, I'm gonna mention something for Bronn real quick in the battle. When he got knocked again, all of his horse and his money got spat on the ground. He had that moment of, oh man, I gotta get out. I mean, forget about them, get out of here. Like for once, he forgot about the money.
And that's
just been his thing.
It was a nice parallel to because earlier in the episode, he wants more or whatever, and it just showed that all the money in the world won't stop you from dying when this
getting roasted by a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And just Bronn in general. Bronn being back makes any episode better.
Yeah, he was a significant part of this episode, so. Well, you think if that happened, this episode would be better, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, please, you guys, let us know what you thought about this episode. Are we crazy? Was this one of the best episodes ever? I don't think so.
It might have one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Which is so. I'm glad because when we were leading up to that scene, I was like, wow, this is not a good episode, and that definitely helped a good bit.
I was wondering if you thought the same thing when the battle was starting, because we know now this was a short episode compared to other ones.
Yeah,
I like the battle happened kind of early. I was wondering, are they going to do this and then something else afterwards?
Yeah, I thought it was too early for it. Once it started being like, oh, we have a battle right now. I was like, oh, here we go.
Wait, they're going to be dragons? Ooh.
Yeah. It just turned out that that was just a really long battle.
Yeah.
It was
and the episode being at least 10 minutes shorter than the rest of the episodes have been this season, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Not a bad thing, but.
Yeah. I thought that too. I was like, either this battle is just going to be really long, or we might have something else after this.
So yeah.
Because, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you have any parting thoughts?
Excited to see where this stuff leads, of course.
Yeah, I'm still. Yeah, this hasn't gotten me not excited about Game of Thrones. Or anything. It was one episode that did not hit for me.
I think we can mainly agree. I mean, I guess there's some things that can worry us for the future, but a lot of our complaints aren't necessarily what happened. It's kind of how they happened or how it was received.
It's not really plot issues. It's just execution.
Besides Arya being a master swordsman out of nowhere and Jon and Dany. Those are the only things that can make the future worrying.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. But the rest of it was kind of just some...
stuff we wanted to happen and are okay with. The execution could have just been better.
Right.
And explained better.
Right. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, I think that's all for us. So thank you so much for listening to us. We'll be back here again next week.
3 more weeks.
Why they do this? So make sure to check those out. If you like video games, check out the Nerds at Large Gaming podcast on all your iTunes and your podcast services.
And your YouTube
at Nerds at Large. And yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Or watching.
Yeah. We have video. Yeah.